Hey guys, I'm live again. I am live again on the internet. Well, that is the plan. That is the plan. So, thanks for anyone who has been waiting for the stream to chat, for the stream to start. I'll wait a few minutes just until a few people arrive and then we can start chatting about a few different things. Yes, so what I'm going to do in this video is talk about phones. There's a few different phones in the market. A few of them I've touched upon in the past, but I think with Black Friday coming up, a lot of people might be looking to pick up a phone. And if you're going to be buying a phone from China or, getting it shipped from Europe or America or China or whatever, you probably should be looking at getting it ordered soon if you want it in time for Christmas. So good time to do a stream, I think. Good time to do a stream. So the three main phones, and you can see this in the title so far, are the Realme X2 Pro, which was, well, it was released before in certain regions, I believe. I believe it was released in China, I believe. But here in Europe, this is the first day that it has been available for purchase. And I was very tempted to just buy it. But there are a few other phones in the market that have piqued my interest. The iPhone 11 for starters, because that, there seems to be a few deals with that, and I'm really attracted to the ability to record 4K 60 frames a second from the front camera. To me, that's a very good thing. But we've also got the Xiaomi Mi Note 10, or the CC9 as they're calling it, CC9 Pro, sorry. And this thing is an absolute beast. It is an absolute beast. It has 5 cameras, one of which is 108 megapixels. It's just insane what that camera can do, and it's getting really good reviews, and it's pretty cheap as well. Well, $500 or so. For a phone like that, I think it's quite a good price. So there's a few phones that I'm going to talk about once a few people tune in. So if you're watching and you've never watched a live stream before, basically I chat about phones, we look at some things in the browser, we chat about some different things, price, specs and all that. And the stream will go in the direction that it goes. It really does change depending on what people say in the comment area. If someone says, check out this phone, I'll look over, I'll do a search, and we'll discuss that one. We'll do a comparison, we'll look at specs. And yes, the success of this stream always depends on who tunes in and how interactive everyone is. So if you're watching, if you're enjoying the stream, please do leave a comment. Right, okay. So, we're good to go? Good to go? I think we are. I think we are good to go. I'll get a drink of water before I start talking. I did a video the other day on my phone. I did a video the other day on my phone, and this is one of the reasons why I like to buy one of the latest phones, is that I do like to be able to record videos from my phone. I like to be able to record a video on my phone, because if something comes into my brain, if I see something that piques my interest, I don't want to wait a few days until I'm back home or something in order to record a video. I like the ability to just record a video and upload. But I positioned the mic in a really bad position, so it was picking up a lot of kind of interference. But the annoying thing about that was I've been not sick, but I've not been feeling good the last few days. I've been severely dehydrated, and when I get severely dehydrated, I find it really difficult to speak properly. I start misspeaking words. Hence the water. Right. Okay. There's a few people watching now, so I think it's time to move forward and we can talk about phones. Let's do this. Right. So, this is the Realme X2 Pro. Now, I've talked about this before, right? And it's been out. Now, I signed up to the waiting list, and the waiting list, not the waiting list, sorry, the newsletter kind of update thing about it. And I thought it was going to be out a week or two ago, and I probably would have just bought it if it came out a week or two ago, because they sent an email a week or two ago, but it was about the X2, not the X2 Pro. There is one called the X2, which is like €100 cheaper. But this one is really, really impressive, as far as specs go. You can see some of the specs here. It's got a Snapdragon 855 Plus, clock speeds of 2.9 gigahertz. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, who doesn't really know how the Snapdragon works, with Qualcomm, basically how it works is around March every year, they release their Snapdragon successor, the new phone. Hey, Flood of Sins. So it's normally around March every year, right? And in the release, for example, they had the Snapdragon 835 a few years ago. So that'll be in March, and most of the phones in the Android world that year will use the Snapdragon 835, and then the next year it's the 845. This year, 2019, it's the 855. All right, Gary boy. So that's basically how it works. Qualcomm released the Snapdragon, the new one, around March. Now, the last few years, what they've been doing is releasing a plus version. So, for example, between the 845, or even this year, between the 855 and the 865, you're getting the 855 Plus. And really, it's just in the middle. That's all it is. Modern Warfare is going great. I might tune in later, actually. I might load it up later and get a game I've not played in a few days. So basically that's how it works. If you buy a phone around March onwards, most of the year it's dominated by the main one, the 855 in this year. But we're seeing a lot of Chinese phones coming out and releasing and using the 855 Plus as in the middle of the year processor. Fast forward to March this year, we're going to see Samsung. They're normally the first one out the gate with it, and they'll release the 65, I assume it will be. Now, it's worth noting that because it should influence when you buy a phone. And one of the reasons why I've not wanted to buy a Pixel the last few years is by the time the Pixel comes out in November and they're selling the Pixel at like £900, we've had 7 months or so of that processor being used. And for whatever reason, Google doesn't use the new processor. They're not using the 855 Plus, they're just using the 855. So, yes, that's you kind of up to date. It's a quick summary as to how it works with Snapdragon processors, at least in the Android world. The Realme X2 Pro here uses the middle of the year one, the updated version one. So most of the phones this year have used 855. This one uses the 855 Plus, flagship processor of the year. And it is, new technology. This obviously will have a faster processor than one that was released 6 months before it. But just look at these specs here. 64 megapixel quad camera, 90 Hz fluid display, 50 watt super VOOC flash charge, 20 times hybrid zoom, Super AMOLED display, 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, and Dolby dual speakers. And it's basically got the little kind of pin drop for the front camera, kind of the same as what's in the Huawei range and a few other Android phones like the Xiaomi ones as well. Now, this is a beast. And Gary, if you're still watching this, me and Gary have been talking about this a lot. And Gary kind of gave me the heads up a few times that it was being released. And I think this is an amazing phone. I really do think it's an amazing phone. Most of the advertisement here, just like any other phone that's been released, it's all focusing on the camera. That's how they sell phones nowadays. But you can see it comes in lunar white, Neptune blue, and you can now buy it. Now, the reason I'm talking about this today, hey Ruben, the reason I'm talking about this today, good to see you there, Gary. The reason I'm talking about this today is the day that it comes out. Gary, if you're watching, this is now available. Now, Gary, the person watching there, is my friend, and Gary's the one that loaned me the 11 Pro a few weeks ago. Gary gave me a loan of the 11 Pro, and I did an unboxing and things like that with it. And Gary was seriously looking at this, and it's easy to see why someone would pick this up. I mean, look at this, a 16 megapixel front camera sensor, 13 megapixels, 8 megapixels, and there's a 2 megapixel sensor, quad sensor, and yeah, really impressive. 4K recording at 30 and 60. At the back there, it's got 720, 30, 60, slow motion up to 960 as well. I think the front cameras, I think it's just 1080p. I think the front camera is just 1080p, I think, at 30, I think. I could check that on GSM Arena. 3.5mm headset port as well. So, ticks a lot of boxes. Got a fantastic 90 Hz display, Super AMOLED display. These are things that normally other companies like Samsung and Apple charge a premium for. If you want a Super AMOLED display, if you want a high refresh rate in a display, you're probably going to be talking about 800, 900. And they're selling it at €400. So, very, very good price. Gary's going to order it for his wife. Yeah, it's a very good phone. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this stream, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because there's a few other phones in the market that do pique my interest. It's why I think a few weeks ago, if this came out at the time, I probably would have just bought it. But I think, I don't know, like the iPhone 11. Now, when I got the iPhone 11 Pro from Gary, I probably wouldn't stretch the iPhone 11 Pro simply because for me, the front camera is more important than the back camera. If I'm doing a video like that, I like to do it with the front camera. Now, the other day I actually recorded with the back camera because the back camera can record 4K. My front camera can only do 1080p. But this phone, the iPhone 11, the front sensor is the same as the sensor in the iPhone 11 Pro. Now, it normally retails at £729, but there's been a couple of good deals recently. There's been, Apple themselves have offered at 0% interest. But if you look on this is the UK website, Hot UK Deals. Currys have got its buy now, pay later. But so yeah, 6 months you've got to pay it off interest free. But they've also got other things. There's a £5 voucher and credit purchases. Get £5 when you spend £25 or more. So I think someone's written it down here. I think this drops the price down quite a lot. It drops it down to where I saw it noted. I'm sure this drops it down to like $670 or something like that, or even less than that, when you add up the extra vouchers and all the other stuff that comes with it. Now, to me, that's makes this a more an appealing price for me. Now, obviously, this doesn't have as powerful a camera as the iPhone 11 Pro, right? Of course, the iPhone 11 Pro is more expensive. It's got a bigger display. It's got a really nice build. Gary will vouch for that. Gary gave me a loan of his phone, and the build quality is just excellent. It just looks gorgeous. This one has got an LCD screen instead, and it's, there's a few areas where they've kind of cut corners, but it doesn't bother me too much. I think I'd be happy with that because, again, for me, it's, one, it's the same front sensor, which is most important to me. The back cameras are still good. And it's the same processor in both phones. It's the same performance that you're going to get. So, there's a good argument that the iPhone 11 is maybe the one to get for people like myself. All right, Simon. Looks like a decent for over specs and price. The Pocophone has opened up a can of worms and definitely worked out better for the consumer. Happy days. Yes, so for those of you who have maybe never heard of it, the phone I had before the Huawei P30, and I had it for a year, and now my dear mother has it. I gave it to my mum. She's now got a kind of up-to-date phone. The Pocophone was a phone from Xiaomi where they took the Xiaomi Mi 8, I think it was, and they basically removed a few features, and instead of selling it for $400, $500, they sold it for like $300. And I picked up mine's for, I think it was like $270, but I got the 128GB version. Xiaomi are still doing this, and a few other companies are still doing this, and this is one of the reasons why I've not really turned back to iPhone yet. People might think I'm anti-iPhone. I'm not. I'm really not. I think the phones are gorgeous. I think that the user interface is good. Probably about the same as Android now. It wasn't at the start. iOS definitely had a head start, but I think just now, kind of much the same. It's the same with OS X and Windows. But the reason why I've not opted for an iPhone in the last few years is just because there's so many good, cheap alternatives. And that's what it is. Maybe I'm playing up the stereotype of a tight Scotsman, but when there's phones out there that are like $1,000 cheaper and, have a similar camera quality, similar performance, it's really hard to justify paying that extra money. But, as I've said a few times, I do like the fact that the iPhone 11 has that 4K 60 frames per second camera at the front. And that's very appealing to me as a YouTuber. You have to do that when you say YouTuber because it's a pretentious wankery when you say things like that. But yeah, this looks really good. I'd probably go for the 11 over the Pro, despite the Pro being a much nicer phone to hold, nicer display and all that. You can see there, sharp 4K video at 60 frames per second. Right, okay. So these are the two phones I've been kind of talking about so far. The Realme X2 Pro, the iPhone 11, and really all of these phones are good. You're not going to be disappointed with any of these phones, not at all. Obviously, the iPhone 11 is a little bit more expensive. It's like an extra $300 or so. But what about this phone, guys? I'm not sure if you guys have seen this, right? The Xiaomi Mi Note 10, also known as the Xiaomi CC9. Now, for those who don't know, Xiaomi do this a lot. Xiaomi release the same phone and call it 1, 2, or 3 different names. It's because they release it in China, then they release a global version, then they release it in India. And instead of just I don't know, just calling it, you know, like the, you know, putting IN for India or CH for China. They cater the name for each region, and then they release very, very slight variations of it where it's the same processor, or it's some, you know, one camera's different or something's different. That's why you see it being called many different things. But this is the phone I'm trying to talk about here. The Xiaomi Mi CC9 Pro. This is also called the Mi Note 10. And you'll see it being sold in many different places. Now, it's actually been sold in GearBest here. Before you go and rush out and buy this, by the way, don't just buy it from here. Don't just buy it from here. Do a quick search. I've not did that. I just quickly found what it was selling at. Do a quick search to see if it's cheaper on AliExpress or Toby Deals or any of these other websites. Do a quick check. And as I said, you know, I've said this many times before. If you're buying a phone like this, use PayPal. Generally speaking, use PayPal. Cover your ass, you know, in case anything happens. Now, what does this phone have? This phone has a 108 megapixel sensor. Yes, I'm saying that correctly. One of the sensors on this. This has got 5 cameras. I'll try and find the official website for you. But this is one of the sensors is 108 megapixels. It's absolutely insane. Hey, look. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, Facebook can be quite slow because I'm streaming to a few different locations right now. Right, where is the actual website? Is there a website there? No, I'm trying to find the Xiaomi website. This is another thing that sometimes the Xiaomi website doesn't come up. So anyway, we'll look at the specs here, right? We'll just go through the specs. So you can see it there, 6.47 inches for the display. AMOLED display, 1080 by 2340. They're using Gorilla Glass 5. I'm not sure why they didn't go with 6, but that's all good. Always on display. Android 9, Snapdragon 730G. Right, so this is one of the things to note about this phone, right? This is not the Snapdragon 855 Plus like that. And currently, the iPhone processors are probably still the best in the market, better than any Android processor. This is just facts. iPhone 11 processors are really, really good. So basically, the top of the end of the market of the Snapdragon range, you've got the 9 series. This is a 7 series CPU. But it is important to note that this 730G processor, it might sound like a mid-range processor, right? And it is a mid-range processor. But it's not like 3-4 years ago where a mid-range processor, you know, it struggled with video, it struggled with cameras and different things like that. This is the equivalent of, I believe, a Snapdragon 835. So it's like a flagship phone from 2 years ago, and now the flagship phone from 2 years ago is kind of the mid-range processor, if that makes sense. Neil's been with them the last 5 years. Yeah, I can see why, Neil. What I will say, you know, having owned the Xiaomi Poco phone, and every so often I'll check my mum's phone and I'll check if there's an update. They're still updating the Poco phone F1. They're still updating it all the time. And I've bought from HTC and other big brands, and they don't update their phones as often. You know, it's just something to bear in mind. Okay, back to the browser. So you can see this is a mid-range processor, so it's kind of the performance from 2 years ago. It might not be, you know, if you're examining phone by phone, if you put this phone against maybe the iPhone 11 or the Realme X2 Pro, those other two phones are going to load a little bit quicker. The camera might load quicker, the videos might load quicker, the browser might load quicker. But really, guys, we're talking milliseconds here. You know, I've seen some of these tests online and people going, oh, look, this one's the winner. But in everyday use, you really don't notice these things. I think we're at the point now where mid-range processors are good enough. They really are good enough. And that's what this has, a good enough processor that's not going to be laggy. It will do the job. But you can see the top here, 6.47-inch screen, 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is more than enough in 2019, 2020. A 5,260 milliamp battery. Now that is good. That is good. The Google Pixel, the latest Google Pixel came out, and the battery is under 3,000 milliamps. It's really, really annoying. So here's the options here: 128 gigabytes, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes, 8 gigabytes of RAM, or 256 and 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now look at these cameras. 5 goddamn cameras this has. 5, right? Look at this. The first one, 108 megapixels. 108 megapixels. F1.7. That is insane. So I think that's the, yeah, that's there. That's the wide angle lens. Then there's the telephoto, which is 12 megapixels. Another telephoto, this is 5 megapixels. Then there's an ultra wide, which is 20 megapixels, f2.2. And then there's a dedicated macro camera. So for getting up really close, there's a 2 megapixel camera. 5 cameras. 5 goddamn cameras. Look at that. 5 cameras. It's starting to look insane. It is starting to look insane. Don't get me wrong. So it can do 4K at 30 frames per second. So this is an area where the Realme X2 Pro does better. You know, that can do 4K at 60. That can do 4K at 60. This cannot. 4K at 30. I'd say for most people that's okay. Can do 1080p, 30, 60, 120, and 240. So that's slow motion. Are they connected at all with Huawei? Not that I know of. Xiaomi's are made in China, but I don't think they're connected with Huawei. So the selfie camera, 32 megapixels, f2.0, 1080 at 30 frames per second for the video, HDR. This has got a 3.5mm headphone jack, Type-C, of course, for charging. Fingerprint sensor is under the display, which is what most Android phones have been doing. I'll be honest, I preferred the fingerprint sensor there, much better there. But they've went for the sensor there, so you can see when it loads up there, it shows you the fingerprint there, and you kind of do that, and it loads up. Does it load up? It does eventually. I find it's not as responsive. The fingerprint sensor is much better in the back when you put it like that. That's what the Pocophone F1 had. It's much better. So it's got fast charging as well. So the Realme X2 Pro has got 50-watt charging, which means that your phone will charge super quickly. This one has got 30 watts, so it's not as quick, but it's certainly quicker than iPhone. It's certainly quicker than most other phones in the market. 30 watts is unbelievable. So you can see the price here, $450 there, but right now it seems to be $500. So there are a few reviews out here, right? So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this. You probably are. This website gets quoted a lot now, right? All the time. Like major newspapers, BBC, the New York Times, they all quote this website because they've got this thing where they test cameras. They test regular cameras, they test lenses, but their mobile phone marks are getting a lot of accolades. Let's put it that way. And you can see the top of the list. So what they've got is they give camera scores. You can see their audio selfie camera. For some reason, they're not consistent. They give a video score. They give a selfie camera score. But every single review does not appear to have that score for some reason. So at the top, they've put the Huawei Mate 30 Pro. So they've got the Huawei Mate 30 Pro. And that's not the Huawei P30 Pro, which is down there. I've got the Huawei P30. That's the P30 Pro. They're talking about the Huawei Mate 30 Pro. And basically, Huawei released the Huawei P range early in the year, like March, April. They released the Mate later on in the year. So the Mate is generally better because it's 6 months newer. Now, you always have to take... I think you always have to take these kind of scores with a pinch of salt. Because, you know, which picture is better than the next? I really do think it's very subjective. You know, you see a lot of people and they'll compare the Google Pixel with the iPhone 11 and they'll compare it with the Huawei phone. And they're zooming in to the point where they're looking at someone's eyeballs and looking at how the colour is. I don't know, I'm a regular guy. I don't really examine photographs that closely. And for me anyway, it becomes like a much, you know, it's much for muchness. You know, it comes to a certain point where really you're just arguing over which is the best and it's just subjective. Some of them might add a little bit more light. Some of them might use a little bit heavier software processing. But the way that I look at it, at a certain point, you're happy regardless. Both phones are good, or all three phones are good. But right now, they are putting this new Xiaomi Mi CC9 Pro. They're putting this at the top of the tree, 121, right next to the Huawei Mate 30 Pro. But, as I said, this is a $500 phone. This one, I've typed it in twice there. This one, well, here in the UK, that's the P30 Pro. Mate 30 Pro. Will I find this in China? Where will I find it? This will be. In fact, I'll just check the GSM Arena page. So this is the Huawei Mate 30 Pro. It's worth referencing this because it's at the top of the tree as well. And this one, the retail is $807. So this is about $300 or $350 more. That's a fantastic phone as well. of course, but if the camera is the main reason to buy a phone, and you know that one's $300 cheaper, then I'm going to go for this one. Now, if I look at this camera review, we'll have a look down. I'll take a break just to take a look at the comments, guys. I know I've been a little bit slow with the comments. So Neil's saying that Xiaomi are a Chinese company. They have a business model where they don't make any more than around 10% profit with their phone business. One of the reasons why they can provide inexpensive, powerful phones. Fifth largest company in the world. Love the spec of Huawei because Google Australia has blocked the Google Store. You can't download. Don't know if it's worldwide. I think, well, that's worth pointing out, look, because the Huawei Mate 30 there that I was talking about, the P30 and the P30 Pro they've not got any problems because they were released before the whole trade war with America and China. But the Mate 30 Pro is affected as far as the store can't be downloaded or you need to sideload it. They'll probably fix this in the future. I believe they'll fix it in the future, but you know, it's a trade war. It's a very tit for tat thing as far as, you know, they're doing it to get back at America, and then America does something to China, and yeah. Sticking with Xiaomi for now. You know, as I was saying earlier, I've only had one Xiaomi phone, but I was very, very impressed. And not even just with the fact that they updated the phone all the time. I got a huge amount of phone for the money. They threw in a case, headphones. These are a lot of things that aren't being included in, you know, in every single phone now. A lot of phone companies are quite stingy. They don't give you a plug. Sometimes they don't give you headphones. Sometimes they only give you a cable and that's it. They don't give you a case or anything else. So I'll leave a link to this here, guys, for you. If you want to post this here. This is the link to the DXOMark review here, which I'm going to take a quick look at. So basically, they've got a video review, and I do encourage you to check this out for yourself. But you can see there, they've rated it 102 for video, 130 for photo. So again, they will give different scores. They'll give a selfie score, a main camera score, and then a video score. And depending on your needs, you know, I would maybe gravitate towards the one with the video score because I'm a YouTuber. But if video isn't as important, then you'll probably gravitate towards the one that's going to be a camera, or maybe the one that's going to be a selfie camera. Now, I'm not going to bore you with this whole review, but I mean, look at some of these pictures. This is fantastic, and it's one of the things, you know, when this, because as I was saying earlier, Gary was talking to me about this, and Gary sent me a few WhatsApp messages and was telling me about this phone and saying, oh, it looks really good, I'm going to get it. And then, you know, he's saying he's going to get it for his wife now. But I was ready to pull the trigger on this, but it's only today that it has been released. This is officially out today, and this is a really good camera, a really good phone in my opinion. Really, really impressive, and an amazing phone. A lot of phone for your money. Ticks so many boxes with the AMOLED display, with the, you know, the refresh rate, with the fast charging. This ticks so many boxes. But when I saw this, and I saw the 5 cameras and the huge battery, the mid-range processor really doesn't bother me as far as how I use the phone. It really did make me stop and think. So, it's got a YouTube video there actually. You can check that out and fool yourself. But I mean, the quality looks really good. I mean, I've actually only just quickly looked at some of the videos as far as the reviews go. I want to look at some of the samples before I do buy it. If I do buy it, I need to have a think. So yeah, they do a lot of photos and they compare it. You can see there's a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, the 5G version. So I'll just kind of summarize what they say down at the bottom, right? We can have a look at it. The Mi CC9 Pro, Mi Note 10, it's called a few different things. Multiple cameras make it one of the very best phones we've tested for both still and video imaging. The dual telecameras are particularly unusual and provide photographers who's ready to photograph with additional telephoto reach compared to most other phones. Right. One quirk of the multi-camera system is that the image resolution varies significantly depending on zoom level. Well, that would make sense. A standard focal length using the main camera is 27 megapixels. Those shot with 2x telephoto are 12.19. Yeah, I mean, I suspect that's something that you'll see in other phones as well, though, depending on which camera is being used. So pros, they've got strong zoom performance thanks to 2 telephoto cameras, good texture versus noise trade-off, fast, accurate, consistent autofocus. Night shots feature natural skin tones, loss of sharpness towards the edges of images, some purple casting sky. So again, these websites do have to nitpick, and in both ways they kind of nitpick with the positive stuff and the negative stuff, because some of these things might only be like 1% or 2% better than a rival, but they are there to point things out. I definitely think that if you're in the market for a Chinese kind of phone in the 300 to 500 kind of range, or any kind of phone, an Android phone anyway, this is definitely something that you should at least consider. This is definitely something you should consider. Now, what I would say for, if, for example, you were deciding between the Mi CC9, Mi Note 10, which is $500, you're talking about roughly, it's not too far off being the same price for the Realme X2 Pro. And what I would say is look at some photo samples, look at reviews, look at some video samples, because this one does have a much faster processor. It does have the faster charging. It does have that Super AMOLED display as well. This one has an AMOLED display, so there's maybe not much there. That's got the larger battery. So look between them. I don't think you can go wrong with any of these phones, really, and include the iPhone 11 in that. But yeah, as always, have a look, check it out. But this is maybe a phone that you should maybe have a look at. I do think it's one that some people should be checking out. What do you think is the best colour? Black, white, or green? I might even go for white there. Yeah, $500. $500. I love how they just put random videos and different things underneath here. It's always mad. This is so this stuff here. I should have looked at this earlier. This is from the official website there. All the features, but I've kind of went over all of this anyway. NFC is there, optical fingerprint unlock. This is the global version, by the way. High res audio. So there's a macro lens, zoom, 180 megapixel primary lens, 12 megapixel telephoto, long telephoto, and there's a dual soft light. It's crazy having 5 cameras. I'm not going to lie, at a certain point you just think, can this not be done with less cameras? But the fact that this is being rated as joint first by DXOMark means that they're obviously doing something right. What do you think, guys? Let me know what you think. I think it looks really good. I think it ticks a lot of boxes with it's got a beautiful display, it's got a huge battery, it's got amazing cameras, 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM is good enough, I would say. I think this is this the 8 gigabyte version that I've got here? Or this is the 6 gigabyte version. Again, shop around. I've not did a search to see which one is the cheapest. And there's always, China changes its deals every single day. It's not like in the UK where a deal runs for a week. They always do their deals and it's like limited offer for 10 hours and then they sell out and then it's a week later they do the same thing. Infrared as well. I've not seen that in a long time. Infrared control. Not seen it on a phone in years. So yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes. On the front, there's a 16 megapixel sensor. You can see it there. It's basically, I've not checked it, but I believe it is very similar to the sensor in the Huawei one. It might actually be the exact same sensor, I think. No, in fact, what was the Huawei? Is the Huawei 24 or 20? I'll need to check that actually, because I could be 100. I could be very, very wrong there. But it's a 16 megapixel, 32 megapixel. Oh, this could actually be the same one then. Oh, I'm getting mixed up. 16 megapixel was an X2 Pro. This one's 32, which I think is the same as the Huawei. That's a 32 megapixel sensor as well. So my guess is it's very similar, but let's check that out, guys. This isn't going to be a foolproof way of doing this. This isn't foolproof, but here we've got, for the front camera, we've got 32 megapixels, f2.0, 1080 30 frames per second for the video, and 32 megapixels, f2.0. Yeah, my guess is the exact sensor. So this is maybe something to go against for me because I'm not 100% happy of the video quality from here. This would maybe lean me more towards the other ones. But the back cameras especially, this, the back cameras on the CC9 Pro, Mi Note 10, whatever you call it. Yeah, really, really impressive. It's actually, see, when you think about it, it's a good point asking about the Yeah, six cameras. No problem, Gary. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Want to consider, I don't know if the Realme X2 Pro is maybe more up your street. I need to have these are the three ones that are probably top of my list right now for phones. Let me know how you get on, Gary, anyway. Yeah, the specs are good. The specs are good. It's a good point asking about the front camera, because there is a good argument that maybe you should have a dual camera on the front and like a triple camera in the back. You know, what they've been emphasizing is the back camera for photos and videos. But to me, the selfie camera deserves a little bit more attention from a lot of these companies, you know, as far as putting in a better sensor. Now, this isn't a bad sensor at all. I don't think it is. You know, as far as photos go, this sensor is amazing. But the video gets a little bit grainy, a little bit, I don't know, it's just, I noticed it myself when I've did some live streams and stuff like that, or we've did a video and uploaded it. 1080p is, it's okay. It's better than I used to have, but there's definitely better phones in the market that have got better front sensors. And that's where the iPhone 11 probably beats a lot of these companies, because, you know, I've said this a few times, that this is somewhere where Apple's leading the line, and Apple aren't leading the line. In my opinion, they're not really leading the line anywhere else this year. You know, it's definitely, they've still got the best processor, right? If you talk about the iPhone 11 Pro, really nice phones and all that, but if you actually look the specs and all that, they're still ripping people off with this capacity thing, lack of micro SD card. I don't like that. Charging hundreds more for storage. But the fact that they've still got the kind of large notch at the top, the notch doesn't just bother me that much. It really doesn't, but there's no denying that most other companies this year have either removed the front like teardrop camera altogether, put it under the screen, had it around the back and popped it up. They've just went with that. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's why they can get 4K at 60 frames per second. I don't know. But there's certain things about the iPhone stuff that kind of seems a couple of years out of date compared to Android world. But the camera quality, you know, iPhones are always at the best camera of the year. They're always like top 3 or something. They're always included in the top 3. But you're paying more for it. You are paying more for it. Maybe the company is trying to make a statement to start taking less selfies and more of the world. You could be right. Look, you could be right. Yes. So yeah, I don't. If there's any other phones that you want me to look at, I can bring up. But those are the phones I wanted to look at. And I have talked about the iPhone 11 and the Realme X2 Pro. But if you're in the lookout for a phone, the X2 Pro is out officially in Europe today for any Europeans watching. The Mi CC9 Pro is available as well. And from the looks of it, it's getting a lot of accolades. They're saying that it's better than the Samsung S10 Plus camera. It's the same as the Huawei Mate 30 Pro camera, if you go from what DXOMark are saying. But this phone is $450, $500. It's not as expensive. It's actually half the cost as some of the ones that have got the same score. It's half the cost as the Huawei Mate 30, nearly. It's definitely half the cost of the Samsung Note 10 Plus. It's ranked higher than the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro, despite the fact it's nearly $1,000 cheaper. So when you actually look at it for what you're getting for the money, I think it's really, really good. I'm quickly check actually. I'm not sure if is the Realme X2 Pro. I'm not sure if that's ranked in that website. I don't think they've reviewed it. No, they haven't. This is the thing. That website doesn't review every single camera in the market. They kind of stick to the main ones, to be honest. Selfie. Yeah. Australia will get it when it's obsolete. Well, what I would say, look, is like this Xiaomi phone, I don't think it'll come out in the UK for a long time either. So if you were going to get it, just order it from China and hope you don't get stung badly by customs. Most of these companies, when you buy them, what they'll do is they'll put gift or they'll put something else on it. I've never actually had to pay. I'm trying to think of the last time I've had to pay something from customs. I remember years ago I bought the Sony PSP. I bought a white version of the Sony PSP and I bought it before it came out in the UK. So I got it imported from Japan and I had to pay like an extra 100, whatever it was, on top of what it would normally cost here. But I remember when it arrived, I had like an extra 50 or 60 pounds to pay as well. And I was like, damn it. And the way they do it, they hold it until you pay that money. But I didn't get it. You know, I've ordered quite a few things from eGlobal. I've never had to deal with that before. S10e. How's it going, Aston? Not spoke to you in a while. I've actually got a smaller phone as well. I've got the Huawei P30, a little bit smaller as well. I don't actually have a problem with this phone. I'm just being greedy looking at other phones. These phones have piqued my interest. How did I go with the return of the laptop? Yeah, absolutely no problems. No problems. I can't fault Dell at all. I really can't. You know, I don't think that came through, but I wasn't implying that Dell or the Dell outlet are bad in any shape or form. I think it was just a little bit unlucky. I've just restarted my phone, by the way. I think it was just a little bit unlucky with the screws being a little bit tightened. The laptop that I got from Dell from the outlet was mint condition. It was absolutely mint, perfect. No complaints. I know obviously there was a few problems with the internals as far as the screws being on too tight. Is this? I've put this on upside down. That's why it restarted. Yeah, absolutely no problems with Dell the way they handled it. In fact, the way they've emailed me a few times afterwards and said just to let you know you'll be refunded in 5 to 7 days and hope everything's okay. You know, their customer service, it's not amazing. I mean, if you go into their online chat is hopeless. And when you phone up, it takes you a while to speak to someone that can actually speak English properly. But yeah, no complaints. I would definitely buy from Dell again. I keep flip-flopping on which laptop to buy. I know this stream is about phones though, so I don't want to delve too deep in the whole laptop discussion. So if there's anything else that you want me to talk about, guys, let me know. But if not, I will log off. And what I might do is log on in an hour on my gaming channel, which I've launched, and I might play a game or two for an hour or so. Arsenal's probably not been on for a while because they lost to Sheffield United. Just joking. I didn't watch that game. I heard there was a dodgy VAR decision with, you know, the offside or something. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to talk about, or will I call it a day with tonight's live stream? Is all good with that? But thanks for tuning in, guys. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you all tuning in. I'm going to do a live stream now. Take a break for half an hour or so, but I'm going to do a live stream on my gaming channel. So if you want to continue chatting about games or laptops, because I'm shopping for a laptop, so I'm doing a lot of research on laptops just now. But if you want to continue chatting and all that, check out my YouTube gaming channel. Have I got a link for this? I should have a link for this. I should be prepared for this. I really should be prepared for this. I'll leave a link. My gaming channel. I'll post it here. A little bit of self-promotion, never hurt anyone. So I'm going to stream in an hour. Luke's off to bed. Night, Luke. Yes, I'm going to stream for an hour or so after this. So I'll probably log on about 10 or something like that, and I'll do a live stream with that. Yeah, I'll be using Twitch as well. Look, I didn't stream this to Twitch because it's nothing related to gaming. But my next stream, it will sync to YouTube, to Twitch, to Mixer, and things like that as well. So you'll be able to see me Facebook, wherever you are. You can watch on Facebook if you want. It doesn't bother me where you watch. If I'm honest, it really doesn't bother me. But if you're watching on Twitch or Mixer or whatever, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, I'm like that as well. Look, I'm like that as well. My spelling gets bad, but right, guys, I'm going to tie up the stream at this point. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments. See, if you guys weren't here, this stream would be absolutely terrible. So I do appreciate you all tuning in. I'll speak to you all very soon. If you want to, you know, continue listening to me rabbling on about stuff, then tune into the gaming channel. I'll be live in about half an hour or an hour or so. So tune in there if you want to keep chatting. But until then, guys, thanks for waiting. Thanks for... I can't even talk now. I'm the same as you. Look, I should go to bed. But thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I'll speak to you all very soon. Cheers, guys.